special Saturday episode for you guys. Usually aren't here on Saturdays. Thought we'd mix it up this week with a bit of a lighter college football card. Had some college football last night, some NBA last night, and we'll dive into all of that. John, how you doing on the Saturday?
I couldn't be more miserable. The fucking losing streak continues. I don't know what we gave out yesterday because I'm like a blur. But I did wind up going with the Phoenix Suns, plus 3.5. This is why we tell you guys, sometimes we're just too sharp for our own good. But really, we know Booker's not going to play. My Massa Edge members know Booker's not going to play. We put that out there in a preview early in the day. Don Best, which basically controls the movement. Everybody's watching the screen. Offshore sports books, casinos. So they're all watching the screen. When the info comes across that Booker has now been downgraded to out, which we knew he was going to be out, which I even think we said on the podcast. Yeah, they're calling him doubtful, but he won't play. That line went up to 3.5. Wrong line. It's just a wrong line. The line of 2 was still high, but was already the line that recognizing Booker was going to be out. Line goes to 3.5. We take 3.5. Game closes pick, and Phoenix even 1-point favorite in some spots. And I felt like we were never in the game. And we made a little fucking run, got there towards the end, only to get pushed back. KD, disgusting for the second game in a row. I think 8 for 25, if I'm not mistaken. Something stupid like that. But more than that, at one point, they had allowed Denver to shoot 77% during the first quarter. Now, you can't even do that on a fucking video game. So not having your team ready to play an NBA game, I don't give a fuck what 5 guys you got out there. If they're in the NBA, they got to be able to play some kind of defense, and allowing the other team to shoot 77% is just that ain't going to get it done. Anyway, the bottom line is this, guys. I'm going to continue to, if I can make a deal right now and beat the number by 3.5 points on every game for the rest of the year, I'm going to take that deal. Because, again, we say it again. I know, especially when I had to beat the book of my Massa Edge guys, just getting tired of taking these fucking L's. But you can't beat the number continuously, every day in, day out, and just not get the money at the end of the year. On a positive note, 2 big dogs, Wizards, plus 11. Game closes 10. Pretty much never felt like you were going to lose that game. A little at the end says, oh, man, if we keep fouling and they make a free throw, we got there, no problem. Grizzlies, we get the break with Luka missing. His wife a fiance had a baby. He's out of game. So that game was over. You just knew you were going to win that game. You almost wanted to have some plus money on the dog on the money line. You knew Memphis was winning that game outright, and they did. Kyrie Irving could not shoulder the burden, 3 for 15 by himself. So 2-2, but our bigger bets were our losers. Suns, like I said, give me plus 3.5, and the game goes to pick or 1, and I'm going to take that bet every time. With that being said, just November sucked, and we start December in the minus. We'll try to get back right today. I think we're going to talk a little bit about that football game last night, Ben, and then we'll talk a little bit about the football card today. So I'm not shocked by the score. The line is right, guys. All I want to do is beat the line. I have no magic bowler who's going to win the game. So Oregon, my numbers say 8.8 point favorite. You're in the realm. So 8.8, so just trying to get you guys, there's what we call the key numbers. And the key numbers around 8.8 are 7 and 10. So 7 you can lay, 10 you can take. That was my feeling on the game, but you were never really in. You aren't on either of those numbers. Although there may have been some 10s at the very end last night. Oregon was the chalk side. Couldn't see that. But, hey, Washington, some teams match up well. Me and Ben just discussing this. And looks like they just match up well with this team. They hung in there. They're an undefeated team. They're going to go to they've got to be one of the playoff teams, right, Ben?
Yeah, they're going to be a playoff team 100% now, and I don't think you, Vegas had the right number at all. We're all wrong. It should be Washington 3-point favorite. They've beaten them 3 straight times, 3 straight field goal wins, and that's the number on that. That's ownership. That's as good as Oregon is, everyone says this. They had the softest schedule of anyone in the top 8, and I was expecting more from them. Horrible start in that game, put themselves out of it early, and that's hell of a win there by Washington, and we'll see. I guess if FSU and Georgia wins today, it's going to be the easiest college football committee they've ever had. They're going to have 4 undefeated teams from 4 Power 5 conferences, 4 conference champions. It's going to be as easy as that, as picking their top 4 if those two hold out today, John.
Yeah. So just missed everything you said. Unfortunately, sorry. I'm trying to pick up our injury news today. As always, guys, injuries all over the NBA card. And the one college game that I'm looking at, there's a couple of college injuries. One we'll talk about when we get there. But the main one, obviously, Florida State quarterback. Will the second-string quarterback be able to play? He got dinged up. They won't even call it a concussion, but his kid's got a concussion. They're waiting to see if he can get past the concussion syndrome. But we're not going to know until 8:00 tonight. That's a late game, 8:00 tonight. So we're not going to know until he's out there. So if you're watching this, guys, you're not going to get that information here. The other injury in college, running back McClellan for Alabama, he's also questionable. So those are the 2 big injuries there. We'll talk about more in each game. You want to get to today's football first, Ben?
Yeah, we can touch in on some of these games going on today. I mean, we can start off with the Big 12 championship, Texas, Oklahoma State. We can touch on that a little bit briefly. You have this Texas team, obviously the one loss on the season. Oklahoma really pretty seamless against the Big 12 for the most part, and even out of it, obviously, with the win there. They're going to need a big win in order to get into the college football playoff, and they're going to need FSU or Georgia to lose to even be welcome a part of the conversation. As far as this matchup, though, specifically, Texas, everyone's really high on them. I don't know if I'm as high as this number is. I'm a little bit shorter on it here with Oak State. Oak State kind of caught us by surprise. Obviously, they used to be a bit more of a defensive program, fell off that a little bit. They looked horrendous to start the season. The next thing you know, coming out of the bye week, their defense flipped a switch, big wins down the stretch. And as far as the head-to-head, Oak State's got the win the last couple of seasons in the matchup. So they've played them tough in the past. Their defense can show up. I mean, it's Oak State or nothing to me in this game. The way they've been playing down the stretch of the season, as good as Texas is, I think 14 has a bit too many points.
Yeah, Oak State definitely owns this matchup. They've won quite a few of these last matchups. Look, Texas, the one loss, if you guys remember, if my Massa Edge members remember, the one loss we had Oklahoma, the Red River Shootout. We went with Oklahoma. That's who took Texas down. Texas don't lose that game. They're talking about just win this game and you're part of the playoff. They've got to win over Bama, remember, beginning of the season. This Texas team is for real. They slipped up one game. It was against Oklahoma. They slip up against Oak State. More than a 2-touchdown favorite now in this game. And while this isn't on their home campus, home field, it is in Arlington, Texas. To me, I feel the numbers. My number on this game is 14. So 14 to 14 and 15, not much of a difference, but just that little half a point over the 2 touchdowns got to make me lean to Oak State. Not enough to take it. I'd have to have more than that. But my lean would be to Oak State in this one.
Yeah, then we can talk about that SEC game, Bama, Georgia. Bama or nothing all the way. I mean, Bama just owns this matchup. SEC championship. They're 3-0 against Georgia in the SEC championship. Last time they met was a national championship. Georgia beats Bama that one 33-18 as part of their little run they've been on. As far as 20-some-odd games now in a row they haven't lost. So going back 2 years, that was last time they got him. This is a Bama team who quarterback issues earlier in the season. Monroe's really settled in. Obviously, we got to see what's going on with running back from Leland, but this is a good defense, and they dominate this matchup. I see them covering this game, and I see a great chance for them to come and win this game. We'll see. I know Georgia's Georgia. They haven't lost in a couple of years. This is a matchup that's going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to the little things here. the success they've had. I mean, this is as far as a spot. You want to talk about a spot, the revenge angle, champion revenge, ownership revenge. It has all the revenge angles you could want here for Bama coming in.
I get all of that. Bama coming off a huge emotional game. I mean, winning they shouldn't even be here. Bama should not be here. We had Auburn last week, as our Massa Edge members know. It doesn't matter to me. We were covering anyway, 14.5, but I mean, look at that last play of the game. There's definitely a push-off. He makes the catch, and that sends Bama into this game. Now, they would be playing this game, but they wouldn't be playing this game with the chance to go on to move on to the playoffs just because they had the best record. So very tough for me to get my head around betting against a team that has not lost a game in 2 years, the two-time defending champion Georgia Bulldogs. Not saying I would lay this game. My number on this game, 5.5. That's where I make the game. The game is ticked down just a little bit to 4.5. There's some Bama money showing up. Just not willing to take Bama. 7, I would be on Bama. Again, it's all about the numbers. 3, I would be on Georgia. I'm in the middle. That I think it's the right line.
Now we'll see if that line continues to drop down any further in that one. And then obviously just the ACC championship later tonight, John. I know we disagree on that one a little bit. I'm linking Louisville on that one. Last time I went against John, they'll kick my ass a little bit. So I'm letting him have this one. We'll see what ends up happening if there's a bet on that game or not.
Yeah. So I had taken Florida State's rating down, obviously, when they lost their starting quarterback. Taking their with the second string quarterback, I've still got to be close to 7 against Louisville. If the first string quarterback is there, this game is double digits to me. I just think Florida State is that much better, especially on a neutral field. I didn't see much of a difference between Florida State on the road and at home. Louisville falls off the chart. Now, they have played better on the road recently, but just a much better team at home. With that being said, if the second string quarterback's out there, do you want a redshirt freshman? Brock Glenn has thrown all of 4 passes. He's an 18-year-old kid. Just be asking a hell of a lot. Forget what the points or how many points you can take off. I would not want the redshirt freshman for me. If this kid's back to play, I'm going to go with he's okay enough to play. This is a college, Florida State, not going to open yourself up to all kinds of lawsuits and potentially putting this kid out there if he's not 100% to play. So if they put him out there, I'm assuming sometimes I hate that word assume, but I'm assuming if they put him out there, he's healthy enough to play. You wouldn't want to put yourself in that position. And at that point, I would like Florida State. We're already looking at a pick'em game. This line right now, you could find DraftKings has actually got Florida State 1. I just looked at Sports 411. They just went to Louisville 1. Let's make it 1. Right now, most of the books have Florida State 1, but we'll see where that changes from.
Yeah, I'm at Louisville -3 on the second string quarterback, third string quarterback. I don't even know how high up I would have to go with that game. Very impressed with them this season. The loss to Kentucky, not ideal, but it's a rivalry game. Throw it out the window, forget about it, and we'll see how they come up for this game. They've had a lot of success in this matchup with FSU. They have one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the ACC. It's going to be an interesting matchup for that.
I can throw out last week's loss against Kentucky. I can't throw out a loss at Pitt. Pitt, one of the weaker teams in the ACC.
Oh, that's a look-ahead loss. They killed Notre Dame the next game.
I get it, and I can give you one slip up, but if you want to take 2, it's just tough. Look, Louisville, different team at home than on the road. Florida State, there's not much of a difference. They travel well. With the second string quarterback, I would be on them. We'll see where this one goes.
Yep. And we have a pretty solid NBA slate we can dive into. A lot of games here. Warriors, Clippers, first one on the card. Warriors get it done the other night. In the first game of the home and home, they were shorthanded. Didn't matter. Clippers coming back in this one. We'll see if they can get this one. They have Denver next. Are they looking on to Denver? Denver's embarrassed them a couple of times. I don't think you can be really looking on in the second game of a home-and-home series. Home team has dominated this matchup. Part of why I like Golden State the other night, and I like the Clippers here again in this spot today. I think the Clippers go and get it done.
Yeah, we'll wait on this one. 5.5 points. Too many points for me to lay with the Clippers suck. They fooled us. They had a great game. Says, okay, maybe this team's starting to come together. They look great, but they look great against the Sacramento Kings, a team that was coming off a back-to-back, coming back from a 24-point deficit, beating the Warriors. So they beat an emotionally spent Sacramento King team on the road. Yeah. They go and play Golden State. No CP3, no GP2, no Wiggins. Man, in the first fucking quarter, they're out of the game already. That got nothing to do with this team. Now, Wiggins questionable again today. We know Gary Payton, too, he's going to be out for a while. CP3, he'll be evaluated next week. So you could have a very short-handed Golden State team again. But these home and homes, it's usually a split when they're two close teams. Being that the home team has won and covered the last 7 meetings, the leanest to the Clippers. But at this number, at 5.5, that's my number. If Wiggins is out, is 5.5. So just not much room for me on this one. I'll sit this one out. Let the Clippers get their shit together. That last game, I actually talked to my chat about it. They had I'm trying to pull it up over here. The second unit of Kuminga, Saric, Corey Joseph, and Podziemski was a plus 18 to start that game. That's just unacceptable. It's not like the Clippers aren't deep. You've got Westbrook off the bench, Norman Powell coming off the – so you're deep enough on the bench. So you cannot let that team go that deep. We've got a big move here. Just right now I'm looking on the Charlotte Hornets. This game dropping down. This is going to look like an injury to me. We'll find out what that's about. Anyway, Clippers, if Wiggins out, 5.5, 6, that's the number. And I don't see anything that I like about the Clippers laying any kind of bigger price than that.
T-Wolves at Hornets next game. Edwards doubtful. LaMelo Ball obviously still out. So going to be missing a couple of the big young stars in this matchup. T-Wolves coming off a nice home win against the Jazz, playing pretty good ball right now, best record in the West. And then you have the Charlotte team coming off a nice win at Brooklyn. This is a matchup Hornets have owned. 6 of the last 7 meetings, 6-0-1 against the spread, 3 straight in Charlotte. I already bet the Hornets at 6, so I'm interested to see what this injury news that comes up, John.
Waiting for it now. I don't have a couple of spots have already taken it off the board. Bet Online, Pinnacle, so you know that's an injury. When a game comes off the board like that, we know it's an injury. Just surprised I haven't gotten the information on it yet. So as let's talk about the game as we're waiting for the injury info. Edwards, we already know is going to miss. They had him listed doubtful. No way he's playing. You got to remember, they'll be off for the next couple of days. No game scheduled tomorrow. You've got the in-season tournament games going then Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday. So Minnesota is not playing again until Wednesday. So only makes sense for him to sit. We expect him to be out. So I don't believe that's got anything to do with the injury. If we're looking at Cat, Gobert, something like that, now you've got your 2-3 of your better players out. It's something different. So the Lions are coming up back at 5. Still waiting for that. We'll see. As Ben said, Charlotte has pretty much owned this matchup, 6-1 against the spread, 6-0-1. 6-1 straight up, 6-0-1 against the spread. They put it together in their last game. Man, Charlotte's got me so pissed off. We bet Hornets against the Knicks, 11.5-point dogs. Really, I felt that Rozier and Bridges would be able to pick up the slack with Ball being out. They did not. They waited till the next night. Rozier goes crazy in Brooklyn. They put up 129 and they beat the Nets outright. Look, there's no question Ball puts up stats. What Charlotte's got right now, they'd like to have Ball. That would make them better. But what they have right now, they're a bottom tier team. Do I want to get on this game? Minnesota's been rough on the road. They've been dominating at home, but just 2-6 on the road against the spread this year. Charlotte doing what they do every year. Last year, third worst, 16-25 against the spread at home. So not jumping on this game, but again, we're still waiting for that injury, and we'll give it to you as soon as it comes out.
And we had the Cavs at Detroit. Cavs coming off a loss to the Blazers. They're big-time double-digit favorites. Couldn't get it done. LeVert, he's going to miss today. They're just 1-4 against the spread their last 5. And then you have this Pistons team. They covered but lost against the Knicks there. They have now lost, 16 straight, 5-11 against the spread. This matchup history, it's favored the Cavs. 6 straight meetings. All 4 last year combined 84 points. Pistons, do they fight and come get a win here at some point? They're gonna get Bogdanović back. They're gonna have to snap this losing streak sooner than later. I don't think the Cavs are gonna have their guard down after letting it down there against Portland.
Yeah, that they'll come in looking for a game. They'll come in looking for a win in this one. Just as Ben said, they got shocked. Portland, a 12-point dog, goes and beats them on their home court. This is their game to get right. That their chicken soup game, a team they've absolutely dominated. They will be without LeVert, and Mitchell's got to get right. Since coming back, Mitchell's had one good game out of the last 3 or 4, so he'll look to get himself right. Detroit, man, how low can you go? But they were just good enough to fucking cover the Knicks in the second half the other night when we went against them. But 16 straight now. 5-11 against the spread. Bogdanović first game back. I mean, going to be minimal. He's going to be limited. How much can he help this struggling squad out? But the line is where it's supposed to be. I think the line should be 9.5, and that's pretty much what the line is. Do you want to lay? Cavs going to go win by double digits? It's a fair number. The number's fair, guys. What we try to do is beat the number. You're not beating anything by laying 9.5 with the Cavs on the road right now.
Then we have Magic at Brooklyn. Magic back-to-back. They continue the win streak up to 9. We get the cover with Washington, obviously. This Brooklyn team coming off that loss to Charlotte the other night. Cam Thomas returned with a decent outing. Nets 8-2-1 against the spread at home. They've had success in this matchup for the last 5 meetings. The last 3 in Brooklyn by an average of 14 points. And I really like this spot for Brooklyn today. Magic's win streak going to snap here. They've been doing this, a lot of it at home, 6 in a row at home. Bit of a fall off going on the road. Mentioned here in the fact that they're back-to-back. You have the Nets coming off a disgusting loss against the Hornets. They own the matchup a little bit. Everything lines up here for the Nets to get it done today.
Okay, so it's Gobert, who's questionable, not ruling him out yet, just hanging a questionable tag on him, and that's why that line is moved. Magic are on fire. Not just at home. They've got the best against the spread record in the NBA. They're playing great ball. 9 straight wins. Their last loss was actually here at Brooklyn. Part of the reason we bet against them last night. We took the Wizards last night. It was part of one of those 2-game series. Magic had blown them out the first game. You know, the Wizards are going to come back with a little bit of a game. And we figured Magic would have one eye on today's game. Again, the site of their last loss here at Brooklyn. Brooklyn beat them up pretty bad, 124-104. Brooklyn coming off a loss to Charlotte. They got stunned. They're not supposed to lose that game. So they'll be ready to play this one. Again, guys, the line is right there, 2.5. That's what I make this game. As hot as Orlando is, they come with a little revenge, but they are on a back-to-back, even though they're a deep team. Nets getting a little healthier each day. Cam Thomas comes back the other day, gets how many points did he get in 20-something minutes? So he's back, gives them another scorer along with Johnson, Bridges, Dinwiddie. They've got enough. 2.5, right number. We'll wait to see lineups and line changes later on today.
Then Hawks at the Bucks. Hawks squeeze out a win against the Spurs. They're now 2-10 against the spread. Their last 12, they're the worst against the spread record in the NBA. They're not covering at all. Bucks lose to depleted Bulls team. Brutal loss in overtime the other night. They're still 8-2, 6-4 against the spread. Their last 10. Hawks beat the Bucks earlier at home this season. Imagine Milwaukee's getting up for this game. They do have the in-season tournament. So how much do they weigh that? How much do they care? Would be a lean here to the Bucks. Just don't know if I quite want to lay this number. Would be looking for a live line if I can get something a little bit cheaper on Milwaukee.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, if there was no in-season tournament to be looking for, this would be a spot for Milwaukee. Hawks came in earlier in the year and handed it to them, 127-110. So, but with that said, do they have an eye on the in-season tournament with the Knicks coming in on Tuesday? Unexplainable loss at Chicago the other night. This Milwaukee team, just when you think they're getting there, they lose a game like they lost the game to the Chicago Bulls, a team that they've basically owned for years. No Levine, no DeRozan. You can't lose that game. I mean, if you're going to be a championship team or in the conversation, you cannot lose that game, and they did. Again, how important is this tournament to them? We saw how important this is to the Celtics. They showed it by fouling Drummond up 30 just to qualify for it. And then they sleepwalked last night. No Embiid, no Maxey, and they got caught sleeping, Boston. They were in a fight for their lives to come out of that game with a win. So we think they had their eye on the in-season tournament. Milwaukee does that again. Hawks will beat them again. If they come with that motivation, that home revenge, they should beat up a bad Hawks team that struggled, had to do everything they needed to do to get by the lowly Spurs on the road in their last game. So again, yes, this could be an in-live or for Ben, or in my case, a halftime bet. We'll watch this one and see which Milwaukee Bucks team shows up.
So we have Pelicans at the Bulls. Pelicans back-to-back. They get it done against the Spurs last night. Bulls obviously coming off that OT win on the Bucks. As far as the matchup history, you have Pelicans won the last 3 meetings, 3-0 against the spread. Not quite the same team on the road, though. That's where things get a little bit weird here with New Orleans. McCollum, he's not going to be playing tonight. It's just 2 games back. Got to see if Zion's playing tonight. Leans here, Chicago. No Levine and DeRozan questionable. I'm going to be honest, I would only want Chicago if DeRozan is out. I do not want him. I do not want the Bulls if he is in. I mean, we talk about injuries so much. The NBA, like, they're NBA players at the end of the day, and the next man up is getting better and better and better each year. Sometimes when, even though DeRozan and Levine might be the better players, whatever the bullshit they have going on in that locker room, it is not a better team together with them out there. So, hey, if they're out, fine by me. Look at the Bulls.
Great analysis, Ben. This is what happened. You got a Bull team that's going to play Milwaukee Bucks. Let's call them the second best team in the East without their 2 stars, DeRozan and Levine. They win the game in overtime outright. I don't want the Bulls right now going for me. Just as Ben said, with either of those 2 guys out, Levine's going to be out for a while. DeRozan, he's already telling them what teams he'll take a trade to, the Knicks, the Heat. You don't want that. So New Orleans, they got their own problems. CJ McCollum, his issue was a lung issue, so he can't actually fly right now. Now, I don't know if he's going to be cleared to go out to Sacramento for the in-season tournament games, but he's not even accompanying the team on this trip to Chicago, obviously just coming back. Zion only played 26 minutes last night, leaving the door open for him to play his first back-to-back. They've played 3 sets of back-to-backs. He has sat in one of the 3 games. I thought he would sit last night against a weak San Antonio team, but they didn't. They played him, but only 26 minutes. Coach said he expected Zion to be available today. Is that coach speak? Well, what do we got? I've got to list him questionable. We only go by your past results. If you missed 3 of the list, if you've missed all 3 back-to-backs, chances are you're going to miss tonight. Zion questionable, McCollum out, and here's a team coming off a win, and they may have an eye on the in-season tournament. They go to Sacramento after this game. Just not a good spot for New Orleans. No way do I want the Bulls with DeRozan. We'll wait to see what's happening with lineups and where the line goes later on.
We have Pacers at Miami. Second game of a 2-game set. He got the first one by 10. Very high scoring game that the Pacers play. Pacers, they covered both meetings in Miami. Last season, Miami, they're just 2-5 against the spread at home. if Halliburton's good to go tonight without Adebayo, this is Pacers spot all the way. And then obviously a spot to the over. Adebayo is another one of those guys going to slow down the total a little bit. And I don't think you can slow down the way these two teams have been playing pace lately.
Yeah, this would be the only bet I've got right now if Halliburton plays. And I just put it simply in our preview today. They've combined to score 270 points in the last game, the first game of the series. 15 of Pacers' 17 games have gone over. Both games of this homestand for the Heat, they've gone over at 264.5. I mean, the numbers are astronomical right now. I'm not an over better, but I'm also not an idiot. If Halliburton plays, they're going to score in the 250s, 260s. Just bet the over.
Nope, that's what the Pacers have been doing. We'll see if that continues. Then we got OKC at Dallas. Doncic, Hardaway, questionable. Luka had a baby. Tell you what, if Luka's playing, I do not want to bet against a guy who just had a baby. That's that new dad strength he's going to be coming out with tonight. We'll see if that's the case. But if he isn't, I mean, isn't a spot all for OKC. They played really good against the Lakers the other night, crushed them 6-1-1 against the spread at home on the road. Mavs 3-5 against the spread at home. And then as far as the meetings, Thunder 6-0 against the spread. The last 6 meetings have a lot of success with it. Would be looking at OKC today, John.
The only thing we're going to say about that 6-0, that's all as dogs. That's an OKC team that was on its way up. They're a different OKC team now. That being said, you saw what they looked like without Luka last night. I don't expect Luka back today. That doesn't mean he's not going to be back. You would just think because they have the next few days off, again, because of this in-season tournament situation, their next game is until Wednesday, that they're probably going to give Luka a pass and give him another day. That's what the line is telling me. OKC Thunder's 4 at Dallas, and that's the only way they can be 4 is with Luka out. More importantly, not more importantly than Luka, obviously, because we just figure we know the Luka situation. You want to have Hardaway. If you don't have Hardaway, that's another score. Remember, Hardaway's your number 3 scorer. Kyrie just didn't get it done yesterday. As I said at the top, 3 for 15. Luka out, Hardaway out, OKC a nobody. But we'll have to see where that line is and where the lineups are.
We have Grizzlies at Phoenix. Grizzlies just beat that shorthanded Dallas team. Suns that lose last night to Denver. No Booker. He's questionable. Got to see what's going on there. As far as the matchup history, Suns beat them at Memphis earlier this season. They split 4 meetings last year. Got to see what's going on with Booker, obviously. I have a hard time seeing the Grizzlies go on another win here and get this one after that loss last night. But who knows? The Suns kind of rest everybody, so we'll see what they're doing if they're trying to get ready for the in-season tournament and get everyone right. Maybe it is a complete give-up game. We'll see. But initial lean is to Phoenix. Got to see what's going on with this lineup, though.
Yeah, KD, 8 for 25 last night. The 2 games since coming back, 19 for 55. No. Phoenix will be playing at the Lakers for the in-season tournament, that playoff game. If they want to win it, I would sit KD tonight. Wouldn't want him coming back to back. Give him another night off. I wouldn't play Booker, even if he's healthy. We don't know what the situation is. The word I heard from this was prior to the Denver game, Booker to be rested against Denver, possibly play against Memphis, but should be ready for the Lakers. Again, this should be a give-up game if they're looking at this in-season tournament that they want to be a player in it, be a contender, win this thing. Sit KD, give Booker another day of rest, and go out to LA healthy. And if they do that, they'll wipe out the Lakers on their home court. Lakers have beat the Suns the 2 meetings that they've had this year, and Phoenix has basically owned the series before this year. So we'll wait to see what they do, what they play. But I do not want Phoenix right now. Phoenix has not been good at home. Phoenix, man, just look at that. It started with losing back-to-back games to San Antonio at home. They've been horrible at home, much better on the road. Look, there's just no cohesiveness. The big 3 have played 0 games together. Either KD or Booker's been out. So, yeah, they've got nothing going on. Grizzlies starting to build a little momentum. Look, they still suck, but they're starting to build a little momentum. Nice winning at home, get their first home win against the Jazz the other night. Yes, Jazz suck on the road. Go to Dallas, pick up a W there. Yes, I know there's no Luka, but just get those W's, get a little something to build. Here's another game that can they keep it within double digits? Suns are a 9-point favorite. If they can, they get a W. Let's see what the lineups look like. It's Memphis or nobody.
We have Blazers going on to Utah. Still no Clarkson, still no Markkanen. Blazers coming off a couple of wins as double-digit dogs, pulling them out. Now you got a very short-handed Jazz team who's been great at home this year, 7-2 against the spread. Still another stop on the trip here for the Blazers before they go back home. So not quite the final game yet as far as the matchup history. Blazers, a lot of success. Won and covered for the last 5 meetings. As great as Jazz have been at home, can't make them the favorite in this matchup with Clarkson and Markkanen both out.
Absolutely not. The way Portland's playing, only thing that stopped me right now, fourth and final game of a 7-day trip. They go home after this one. So is this the final stop where Portland's coming out with 2 wins as double-digit dogs, and they just wrap it up on the final stop of their road stand? But yeah, no way could they be a favorite here. What I'm looking at in this one is under. Markkanen and Clarkson, 2 top scorers for the Jazz. Portland, they're just dead last in scoring. This game's got underwritten all over it for me. We'll see where this line goes, but under or nothing, and Portland or nothing. But I would want a little more of a cushion as far as the point spread.
The Nuggets at Sacramento. Nuggets, big win at Phoenix last night. Fifth City, 7 days. This spot is all for the Kings tonight. Worth a look here. Keegan Murray questionable yet again. We'll see if he gets back. Sacramento, a little bit of woes right now, 1-4 against their spread their last 5. They're coming off that loss to the Clippers, but it was a complete letdown spot after the big win against Golden State. Nuggets, they won 6 of the last 7 meetings. They did split meetings in Sac last year, and I think this is a great spot for Sacramento. We'll see if Murray or Gordon play tonight. Maybe they both play. Jokic sits. Who knows? We'll see how Denver handles this part of the schedule. Would be a lean here to Sacramento, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jokic gets the night off.
Back-to-back 5th and 7. Tough part of the schedule for a Denver team. They know the championships aren't won in the beginning of December. Murray sat out last night. Would expect him back tonight. Aaron Gordon's missed the last 4 games. He's got a legit injury, so he's an actual question mark. Do they give Jokic? Do they give Porter? Who else do they give off? Do they give anybody off? Or do they come for this game, being this is the last game that they'll play till Wednesday? So back-to-back 5th and 7th, got to see. Sacramento, on the other hand, huge win. Come from behind, finally get over the hump, beat the bigger brother Golden State Warriors down 24. They get a little revenge for that Game 7 loss last year. Come back the next day and get beat by the Clippers on their home court. So they're coming off a loss. Normally that's a game to bounce back, but do the Kings have an eye on the in-season tournament? They'll be playing the Pelicans in that first round. Also, Keegan Murray, he was at practice yesterday. He's missed the last few games, so he's going to be questionable, but I got him on the right side of questionable. We'll see how that breaks down. This game's going to be who's Denver bringing to the party? Everybody healthy, all hands on deck. I can't make Sacramento 4.5. If they're resting some guys back-to-back, 5th and 7th, different story. So, again, another one of those games, guys, we've got to see with the lineup. At 11:45, we just don't know who's going to play in this one.
Then last game on the card, Rockets at the Lakers. Lakers, speaking of not knowing who's going to play, maybe they get some of their depth back. Vanderbilt, Hachimura, Hayes, Reddish, all questionable. That's pretty much an entire bench lineup there. So we'll see what they have cooking up with that. Obviously, they have the tournament coming up. They just got blown out by OKC and Rockets. Even with Van Fleet out and everyone coming back for the Nuggets and that number going all the way up, they still found a way to cover 11-1-1 against the spread their last 13. And that loss at Denver. Still haven't won on the road yet, 0-7 but they have covered each of their last 4 road games, just hanging in there, sneaking in behind the number. Lean to the Lakers, but shit, Rockets just keep covering. Don't know if I can break it.
Lakers are in the same situation as a bunch of teams. As we said, Sac coming off a loss, has the in-season tournament next. Phoenix coming off a loss, have the in-season tournament next. Bucks coming off a loss, have the in-season tournament next. Okay, well, so Lakers are in the same situation. Are they looking to rebound from getting blown out at OKC, or are they looking to that first-round game against the Suns? Here's another game. Tell me which Laker team shows up, and this would be an easy one. Rockets will beat this team on the court as they try to regroup coming off 2 losses if the Lakers have one eye on their next game. If the Lakers come with their intensity after getting blown out, they'll come with a game. They'll beat the Rockets and stop their against the spread streak, which they've been on. So I'm just getting a message there. But as far as this game, my number on this game isn't 5. That's what the line is right now. And as usual, we make a joke out of it. Lakers are listing LeBron questionable. He's had a couple of days off. Excuse me. This is 4th and 6 for the Lakers, but he only played 20-some-odd minutes in that last game. Leads me to believe LeBron will play. Then they've got another couple of days off before they play Phoenix. I expect him to play. And like I said, what intensity are they coming with? Another good game to watch, bet live or bet at halftime.
We'll see what ends up going on with some of those injuries and a lot of those games. If you guys want those updates throughout the day, sign up massaedge.com or download the app. Not a lot of bets out yet, but a lot of news we're waiting on throughout the day and a lot of games, both football and basketball, so that can change.
Okay, I'm just watching a tremendous move in the NFL that's going to lead me to believe we've got to look to see if Baker Mayfield's going to play, because the Tampa Bay Carolina game, Tampa Bay is now down to 3.5 and 4. That game opened 5.5 in a week. So we'll look for information there. I don't see anybody else that could possibly have knocked that line down. They are a little nicked up on B. Godwin, the wide receiver. It was a game-time decision. The first report was Mayfield came out of the game and needed x-rays on the wrist. They were negative. So we'll see if maybe he took a downturn. But that's the move right now in the NFL. We'll get more info on that, guys. And again, you want to know about the NBA? Look what we're giving you. We're telling you. We don't know if Wiggins is going to play for the Warriors. We don't know if Gobert is going to play for the T-Wolves. What are the games are question marks? We don't know what Zion's going to do. Are they playing him? Are they resting him? DeRozan, questionable. For Indiana, you've got Halliburton, questionable. So you following what we say? Huge question marks. We can't answer them at 12 o'clock noon Eastern. Can only answer them as we get closer. That's why you want to be a Massa Edge member. And hey, you beat the number just one more time. You beat that number by 3 points, 3.5, 4 points, day in, day out. You can't help but win. Let's get over the cold streak and let's make some money.